Hey, what is good, my friends? Traj here, back with some more Helldivers 2 content, and I've at last found some crucial information for the Galactic War that Joel did not want us to find. So this video is going to be covering that. Before we dive into the good stuff, I do owe you guys some super credits from a giveaway before, so gonna let the random YouTube comment picker thing do its thing in the background. But I do want to give you guys some credits as well. So first, let's pick this winner. Speculiar, GG's my friend. So I'll reply to your comment in the old video and let you know you won. You can let me know what platform you play on and I'll get you your super credits accordingly. But we're going to give away some more super credits on this video, my friends. I want to equip you guys the best way I can out there in the war. I know you guys are fighting the good fight. So in order to join this giveaway, just like the video, make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment below on your favorite stratagem. We'll pick the winner at the end of this week and I'll shoot you your super credits. Also, I did find a really nice app. It's just a website actually, HELLDIVERS.io. It's going to show you guys some important updates when it comes to the major order, what planets we can currently attack, the current progress at this rate. So for instance, on Vandalon, if we keep up this rate, we will be losing 0.63% an hour. So I'm going to dive into all this stuff in this video. You know, we have 10,000 players on Vandalon. How could we possibly be losing percentage? I'm going to tie it all together for you guys now. So this is HELLDIVERS.io. I'll certainly be adding it to the description. I think it's very important for us to be able to follow along the Galactic War. But now let's hop into the good stuff, my friends.
Have their stories, they be made up. I can't believe in cap tragedies.
But now the good stuff. So as mentioned, guys, I did find this giga chad of a Helldiver named Ghoxen on Reddit. This dude does in-depth breakdowns of how the planet liberation actually works. He does breakdowns of the invisible supply lines. So he is the true hero here. I'm just the messenger trying to spread the word, you know, make sure that we can get us as much exposure on this guy's breakdown as possible. So again, it's Ghoxen on Reddit if you want to go check him out. I'm not too positive how Reddit works, but I know he's definitely as good a source as anyone when it comes to this news. All right, so let's start breaking down his post here. It's not too long, but it's definitely packed with info. So you can see this is where it ends. But I'll give you guys the summary first. So if you see multiple bug planets being attacked and needing liberation, focus on whichever planet has the most players. The best way to capture all planets is to focus on a single planet and build up a huge critical mass well above the regen rate of that planet. So that's the overall summary, but now we're going to break down how that works. But again, guys, we need to set up blitzes. We need to be more aligned. If we want to take on Joel and his bandit of bad bugs and robots, we need to be able to work together and again, be more organized, work smarter, not harder. Because again, if we're spreading out, as fun as it is, as beautiful as the planets are, and of course do what you like, and that's the first thing he says, play the game as you wish. But for those who are really trying to make their mark in the Galactic War, this is just a few things that, you know, can help us work together to expedite that. But let's first talk about liberation progress. So players contribute to a planet's liberation progress when they complete operations. So currently it's a very small number, 0.0001% to 0.0003%. based on how many operations are within that mission. So for example, on a trivial mission, it's only a one operation mission. So you'd only contribute 0.0001% to the liberation progress after that mission, regardless how many players you're playing with, regardless on the difficulty level. So if you complete it solo, a trivial mission, or if you complete it with 4 people, when it's over, since it's only one operation, it's a one-part mission, you're going to be gaining 0.001%. Whereas if you do a 3-part mission, as you complete the missions, all 3 operations, you're contributing 0.003% to the overall number. So again, it's based on the amount of operations per mission, whether it's 1 through 3. It has nothing to do with difficulty level or the amount of players. On average, 100,000 players on a planet will tend to contribute around 5% liberation progress per hour. Now let's discuss planet regen. So think of a planet regen as the rate at which a hostile planet is being reinforced or how quickly bugs are spawning. And this is the part where Joel has a huge impact. This is where he can actually pull strings quite a bit. So this mechanic can be adjusted by the game master, being Joel, at anywhere between 0% to 20% per hour. So he can adjust how much the planet is being reinforced from anywhere from 0% to 20%, which is how quick the bugs spawn. Each hour, the planet's liberation progress will also decrease. So like I said, it's a push and a pull, regardless how many players are there. And it's deducted from any progress made by the players on that planet. So as I mentioned earlier, we complete missions, we contribute a little bit, but obviously it does compact. So we have hundreds of thousands of players. Those 0.001s and 3s do add up. And that's what's explaining here. So if a planet has a regen of 4%, Again, this is where Joel can dictate kind of the difference here. 4% and 100,000 people are on it. On average, that means the planet will see a net progress of 1% per hour. And how do we get that? So we take 5% from the 100K. Again, it's an average, so 100K players will liberate about 5% in an hour on a single planet. And then you have to minus the 4% planet regen in this specific case. So over an hour, you're netting plus 1%, which it is a grind. It's gonna take a while. And you can see why if we're spread out, it's gonna be even less. Even with 100,000 players on a planet with a 4% regen, we're still only gaining 1% an hour. Very, very minimal, and that's with 100,000 players. 100K gamers in one spot. Typically, the Game Master sets a relatively high regen rate for bug planets, so you're gonna see about a 5%. So it's not like Joel's ripping us with the 20%. Yeah, he might do that on the last day that we almost take Malevolent Creek, but for now, it's about 5% for the bugs. The bot planets have a 0% regen, because obviously we've been struggling to overtake them as is, but the bugs, about 5%. That means 100,000 players is being negated every single time. So we need these planets to be over 100K to see the progress, if you're seeing an average of 5% regen. And how I find that number, just going back to here, 100K players will liberate about 5% per hour, meaning if we're typically seeing a 5% regen, we need over 100K players or we're not making progress worth dick. All right, so let's dive into some of these planets and show how exactly we're doing. This is, the 4th. So this was just yesterday, the 5th as well. Very recent updates. Fenrir, we've liberated 86%. Let's double check what that's at now. 57%. See, so we had a lot of players on last night, but now we're losing our progress because the peak has dropped. So we were at 86% liberated, now we're at 57%, and we're on pace for minus 1.26% an hour. So as you guys can see, man, this shit pushes and pulls fast. It's gonna take a collective effort and not just everyone hopping on and playing, but it's gotta be strategic as well. So Fenrir, Meridia, and Tearing are all bug planets, although they each have a lot of people. Due to the 5% regen on those planets, they are each making relatively little progress, 1 to 2% at most. This is because each planet has about 100,000 players that are just beating back the regen, and only the surplus players are pushing the progress forward. So anytime you see 100,000 players on a planet, they're only keeping it even. They're only keeping Joel at bay. Anyone above 100K are the ones pushing the war forward, pushing Joel and his bandits back, and making the progress. So if you guys hop on, and you of course do what you want, make sure you're having fun, obviously. But if you're trying to fight the good fight in this galactic war, make sure you fight in a planet that has over 100,000 players currently so we can make progress. Errata Prime is also a bug planet, and since it has below 100K players, no matter how long those 70,000 players stay on the planet, it will never see a single % of progress since they can't beat the 5% regen. That's why the planet has stayed at 0% for many days. So Errata Prime has always been at 0%. Yeah, 0%. There's 25,000 players on it. It doesn't even matter. They can be having fun, but they will never move this to 1% ever, because the regen is just way too high. So again, Errata Prime, 70,000 players, they could stay there for the next year and we would never liberate the planet. So it's pretty insane, man. It's gonna take a massive, massive effort to push this thing forward. We might actually need these Xbox reinforcements, man. I don't know. We might have to put the console wars aside and find a way to get our Xbox guys involved. So none of this information is visible in the game itself. So players just naturally think the best strategy is to kind of spread out and have, X amount of players spread out between all the planets. We couldn't be more wrong. We've been doing this entirely wrong, as Ghoxen has verified here. Hypothetically, let's say we have absolute command over the actions of 360,000 players, and we need to conquer 3 planets at 90%, 80%, and 70% with about a 5% regen. However, we only have 6 peak hours, after which the player base will drop down to 150K. So this is a very strong example broken down. This Ghoxen guy is an absolute Giga Chad genius. I salute him. So we have 3 planets. In this example, one of them is at 90% liberated already, one's at 80%, one's at 70%. And we're gonna have 2 different strategies, the spread out strategy and the Blitz strategy. The Blitz being where we all focus one singular planet. So in this case, the first 6 hours will be peak, and then the following 4 hours will be off peak. So let's see, when we're spread out, how does it work? What are we doing here? When we're spreading out entirely with 360,000 players in this example. So you can see by hour 1, 2, 3, we are making progress on planet 1. It's gonna take 6 hours for us to get very close to liberating. We almost made it, but then on hour 7 is when we're off-peak players and we start losing that progress. Because we were spread out between planet 1, 2, and 3, we never were able to get to 100%, even though it was at 91% when we started. You can see at 96 we fell short, and then the players get off, and that's when we lose all that progress back to under where we started. Again, for planet 2, you can see 81% when it's all said and done. 10 hours later, we've lost progress. Same with planet 3. And that's what's been happening. That's why you're seeing the same exact planets over and over in that liberation bar going down and down. Because I was thinking like that thing's only going forward. I was totally positive that we were making progress every day. Little did I know we haven't been doing dick. So that kind of is a quick summary of the spreading out strategy. Now let's hop into the focused blitz strategy. Okay, so the focused blitz strategy, again, this is when we're sending all 360k players in this example to one planet. So hour 1, we're on planet 1. We're deploying all 360k players. By the end of the hour, we've liberated it entirely, 100% from 90%, right? So we were able to close that 9% gap with ease with the amount of players and with the blitz strategy. So it did take us an hour, so now we're on hour 2, onto planet 2. 360,000 players. Again, this planet was at about the high 80% when it started. And I want to highlight that since we had 360,000 players on planet 1, the excess amount of, liberation, for lack of better terms, is enough to push us through the following 8-9 hours, just because of how hyper-focused we were on one area. But then after hour 1, we're on to planet 2, since we've already 100% in planet 1. By the end of hour 3, we will have liberated planet 2 entirely. So now we've liberated planet 1 and planet 2, since all 360k players are going from one planet to the next. Now in this case, we weren't able to liberate planet 3 during peak hours, but we still were able to liberate planet 3 by the end of the day, because even in off-peak, where we have say 150,000 players, they're not going to be spread out like before. They're all going to be hyper-focused on planet 3. So by hour 6 on planet 3, we have liberated 94%. That's when about 200k players get off. They got school, they got work, they got shit to do. The remaining 150k players are again able to focus planet 3. And by hour 10, we've liberated all 3 planets, which is extremely satisfying, you know what I mean? So the quick summary, if you see multiple planets being attacked, focus on whatever planet has the most players. That's the way to truly kind of push this thing forward. And I did want to add the supply lines, the invisible supply lines into this video as well, but it might be best for another video. I know this was a shit ton of information, but I found this from Ghoxen literally in my bed last night, just kind of dicking around on my phone, and I was like, dude, this guy is the truth. This is the guy who's gonna break us free from the chains of Joel and his bandits. But I hope this helped you guys out a little bit. I hope we can start to focus blitzes. I'll be the one to every morning and say, look, we're blitzing Fenrir today. We're blitzing Errata Prime. If we need someone to be a hero, I will emerge. But I hope you guys enjoy your day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you do like and subscribe. Leave that comment for your chance to win some super credits. I'll draw that winner probably Friday. But I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.
Half their stories, they be made up. I can't believe in cap tragedies.